Hey guys, Neely here, coming in for another Instant Pot cheesecake video. I am going to be doing a cookies and cream cheesecake today, which is one that I have not tried before. The recipe comes from thisoldgal.com, which I highly recommend for all of her cheesecake recipes. They're always fantastic. A couple adjustments I am going to be making for this cheesecake is I'm making it gluten-free. So the cookies that I'm using are the gluten-free JoJo's from Trader Joe's. And the second adjustment I'm making is I am changing it from a 6-inch cheesecake to a 7-inch cheesecake. I have my 7-inch Fat Daddy-O push bottom cheesecake pan, and I'm actually doubling it and making two 7-inch cheesecakes. So the recipe is designed for a 6-inch cheesecake, and I adjusted all of the ingredients to make it a 7-inch. You can just take a 6-inch cheesecake recipe and put it in a 7-inch pan, but then you're gonna end up with a really thin, flat cheesecake, and I wanted it to be nice and thick. So I did the math and adjusted the ingredients to get the same thickness in a bigger pan. Basically, you have to increase the ingredients about 1/3 to go from a 6-inch pan to a 7-inch diameter pan. So that is what I'm doing. I wrote down all of my ingredients, and the only thing it gets really tricky for is the eggs. And if I was only going to be doing one of the 7-inch cheesecake pans, I probably would have done 2 large eggs plus 2 egg yolks instead of 1 egg yolk. But because I'm doubling the recipe, I was able to kind of fix it a little bit more. I'm going to do 5 eggs for the 2 cheesecakes plus 3 egg yolks. And that's only because I'm doubling the recipe. So figuring out the math did get a little bit complicated because I'm doubling this recipe plus I'm increasing each recipe by 33%. So I needed to take 2 large eggs and 1 egg yolk, double it, and then also add 2/3, 66% more. So 166% more than what it called for, which is complicated when you're dealing with eggs. But the way I got it worked out is 5 eggs, 3 egg yolks. Sorry that was so complicated. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I'm going to be cooking one of these cheesecakes in my Instant Pot Max and one of them in my 8-quart Instant Pot Duo. And so the cook time is going to be different between the two because the Instant Pot Max cooks faster. So I'm going to have to play with the cook time because I did adjust the recipe. So I will definitely let you guys know what the finalized cook time was, both for the Instant Pot Max and for the Instant Pot Duo. So I think I'm ready to get started. I have my 2 7-inch pans with a parchment paper round in the bottom, and I also greased the pans. So those are all ready to go. I'm gonna start with the crust. I have my butter that I'm gonna melt real quick in the microwave. I have my sandwich cookie crumbs, and I did not scrape out the filling of the sandwich cookies. I just blended them all up together. And the last ingredient in the crust is the sugar. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that all mixed up and pressed into the bottoms of my pans. I'm going to stick the crust into the freezer and make the filling. The ingredients are cream cheese, salt, vanilla extract, heavy whipping cream, egg yolks, and whole eggs. And to get all of the measurements for the 6-inch cheesecake, go to This Old Gal's blog post that's linked down below. Also in the description, I will put my adjusted amounts for the 7-inch cheesecake and also my adjusted amounts for making 2 7-inch cheesecakes. Okay, the next step is to pour half of the batter into each of the pans and then layer with the cookies and then add the rest of the batter. So now it's time to get them ready for cooking. The first thing is put a paper towel over the top and then some foil over that to secure the paper towel. All right, now these cheesecakes are ready for cooking and I'm gonna get my Instant Pots set up. I have my liners in both of my Instant Pots and I'm gonna add 2 cups of water to each one. And I have both of my trivets, my trivet for my 6-quart Instant Pot Max and my trivet for my 8-quart Duo. I'm gonna get each cheesecake onto the trivet and lower it down into the pot, and it is going to be a little bit tricky to get this one out of the pot without a foil sling, but I'm going to risk it this time. You can do a foil sling if you want a little bit more stability. With the 8-quart, it's a little bit easier since it's bigger around, it's easier to get out. I'm just going to lower that down in there. And there is the one in the 8-quart. There they are, all ready to go. Now for the cook time, it's going to be a little tricky again since I am adjusting cook time for the 7-inch pan. It is going to take longer than the 6-inch. The recipe for the 6-inch cheesecake in an Instant Pot Duo calls for 35 minutes, and I am going to increase that to 45 minutes since I am using the bigger pan and more filling. And then you have to adjust for the Instant Pot Max. It cooks faster on the max pressure setting because it cooks at a higher PSI. So usually you reduce the cook time by about 25%, I'm finding, although it can vary for different items. So I am going to cook this one for 45 minutes, and then I am going to cook this one for 31 minutes at the max pressure setting, and I will let you know how those turn out. So on my Duo, I'm hitting manual, or if you have the pressure cook button, hit the pressure cook button, and I am going down to 45 minutes. There it is. And then for the Instant Pot Max, I am going to hit pressure cook, and I'm going to go up to 31 minutes. And I want keep warm mode on. I want to hit the pressure setting up to the max pressure setting. I want no venting, and I do want the keep warm mode on. So that is all ready to go, and I am going to hit start. Once these pots preheat and come up to pressure, they will start their cook time, and after the cook time is finished, I will let them sit on keep warm mode for 12 minutes, and then I will pull them out and see what they look like. So for any of you guys that are interested in the differences between the Instant Pot Max and the Instant Pot Duo, I thought I'd throw in this little bit of information here. You can see that the cook time on both of these now is 31 minutes. And when I started, this one, the cook time was going to be 45 minutes. This one was going to be 31 minutes. The Instant Pot Duo got up to pressure in like, I don't know, 5 minutes. Instant Pot Max took about 20 minutes to get up to pressure. Now, it makes sense that the Instant Pot Max should take a little longer to get up to pressure because it is going to a higher pressure setting. It is going up to 15 psi instead of like 10 to 12, I believe is what the Duo is. So it should take a little bit longer, but I've been a little bit disappointed in how much longer the Max takes to come up to pressure. So I started both of these at the same time. This was supposed to have a 14-minute less cook time than this one, but they're going to end up cooking in the exact same time almost. The Max will finish like 30 seconds before the Duo. So that's one thing. That's one thing I've been a little bit disappointed with the Max, and something to keep in mind if you're thinking about purchasing a Max. So cook time on both of these has finished, and I'm going to release the pressure and pull them out and see what they look like. There, that one's going to go. I'll do this one manually. See if I can get this out of here easily. Ooh, it was pretty full, but hopefully it'll sink down a little bit. Doesn't look too pretty right now, but hopefully when it cools off it'll look a lot better. I'm gonna have trouble with the sour cream layer actually because of how full it is. Usually you just pour that on top and it kind of just flows over the top to the edge, but it would spill off on this one. So I'm gonna let it cool first and then see what it looks like and see if I even want to add that, because that's totally an optional step. Let's see what the one from the Duo looks like. Oh, that one looks a little bit cleaner. Not too bad. So this is what they both look like. They both have a little bit of a jiggle left in the middle, and that will firm up as it cools and when it refrigerates. I'm going to go ahead and mix up the sour cream layer, and I'm going to be able to get a little bit on here, and I think this one is sinking down enough that I should be able to get some on this one as well. The edges are kind of sinking down, so I think it'll be fine. The sour cream topping is just sour cream and sugar whisked up together, and I'm going to pour it onto the hot cheesecakes. Then I'm going to, as per the recipe, let them cool on the counter for an hour and then transfer them to the fridge. It's going to just kind of fill in all the cracks and make it look really nice, and it'll firm up in the refrigerator as well, so it'll just make it look beautiful. And don't they look gorgeous? I'm going to let them sit, and I'll transfer them to the fridge in an hour. They've been cooling on the counter here for a while, and you can see they're coming away from the edges nicely. I'm going to go ahead and put the foil top back on and stick them in the fridge overnight. So the sides of my cheesecakes didn't look as pretty as cheesecakes I've done in the past, and I'm pretty sure that the reason for that is because I only let them chill in the fridge for about 2 hours before I took them out of the pans, and that was just because I wanted to get a decent picture of them before my lighting went away. So I think if I had left them in the pans overnight like I had originally thought I was going to, they would have looked a lot better. but they still looked okay, and I was going to cover them with the chocolate cookie crumbs anyway, so it all was fine, and of course they still tasted delicious. The cheesecake from the Instant Pot Max was actually more cooked than the one from the Duo. Not a ton, but the Duo one was still a little bit jiggly. I think next time I will keep the Instant Pot Max cook time the same at 31 minutes, and I will bump up the Duo cook time to 50 minutes. Thanks for hanging out in the kitchen with me today. I will be back again real soon.